Hello, I am Jan from Prague, the Czech Republic, and in this video let's explore what to expect from taking photos with the Xiaomi 13T. We will take a quick look together at about 150 test photos taken in a number of locations from Prague to the hills of countryside. And we will not just be interested in what this phone can do, but also in the main technology trends of this class of devices. First, let me just sum up specifications of that mobile phone, and then we will just jump into a lot of test photos. So what should we know? First of all, as you can see here, there are 3 lenses and 3 sensors. The main one would have 50 megapixels and 24 millimeters in the terms of full frame, of course. We would be working with it most of the time, you and me, because it can provide a pretty reasonable angle like here, or it can serve as a great tool for taking your dogs and cats or pretty much anything. Then we have the second lens and second sensor with 50 millimeters and again 50 megapixels. We can use this for a portrait like here with this dog, or here with my wife. So again, quite important lens, quite important sensor. And then there is the third option, which is ultra-wide lens with about 12 megapixels, a sensor, and 50 millimeters, which, as you probably know, can be very useful for photography like that. It means that you are able to squeeze streets of Prague into one frame. And I have mentioned 50 megapixels. It should be noted that if you want, you can turn on the shooting into 50 megapixels when you are able to get really a lot of details. But having said that, you are going to get really good results even without using that huge resolution. When I was preparing this, I've noticed that I actually have to anonymize the people in the tram because you can clearly see their faces, and I'm just trying to protect their identity. So I have to cover them with that black stripe. And in a way, it's fascinating because, well, yeah, we're talking about a mobile phone. It's dark, it's moving, and still, you can pretty much tell who is inside of the tram. And then, of course, if you want to set up some pro features, as you would expect, that there are many of them here in the Pro, and you are able to set to white balance and shutter speed. We just won't go into details because I really primarily want you to see what happens if we just go to the streets and take photos. So now let me take you to the streets of Prague now in October. And this is actually quite a good example of how this camera would be operating, because there is a beautiful October day in downtown Prague, a famous garden just off the main square. And if you are a photographer, you should probably like the way the camera is able to cope with the shades and shadows and different levels of lightings, because the results are really good. It should be noted as well that if you feel that the colors are a little bit overblown, they are in fact not, because it was a really that beautiful autumn day here in Prague. One more note about the lenses we have. So this would be the ultra wide, this would be the wide angle, and here are we at the 50. So this is as far as you're able to get with optical zoom. But if you want, you can of course zoom up to 20 times, which is just pointless of doing, but this is 10 times. And well, of course you can see that the quality goes down, but at the same time, we are not speaking about a high-end mobile phone. This is just a mid-range, and it's up to you, but I have to say that under certain circumstances, I could probably live with this. We have this ultra-wide, and as you again can see, in a bright, beautiful day, the results would be just really fine, I guess. Okay, let's walk out from the park and see what it does here in the streets of Prague, just off the Wenceslav Square, if you've ever been there. And again, I believe these results are pretty good, and one of the key points I would have is that Xiaomi 13T does really good job in these circumstances with great light. The same applies to portrait shots, and I guess you can recognize that these are pictures taken with the portrait mode. This is my wife, which gave me a couple of seconds to take these shots, and you can see there's a lot of colors. And generally speaking, if you know how all these things work, the results are really good, I guess. So again, once you know how to do it, the new generations of portrait mode can be really trusted that you can get some nice details. Well, one point here you can see that the corners of the shots are a little bit darkened. This is one of the modes of the portrait shots, and I don't care much here, but sometimes that that artificial vignette is too much for me. But it's a nice shot here, I guess. Let's move to the streets of Prague. And this is much more complicated lighting. There's not much of green. The sun is going down, but still, the results are all right. I mean, if you have your proper camera, you wouldn't get much further. The same here. This is very boring. It's dull weather, it's raining, and it's boring day, but still the mobile is able to cope with it. It's able to make the green lawn to be green, and the results are all right. The same applies to that situation when we just had to say goodbye to the nice weather and the real autumn is coming and rain is coming and it's not that exciting anymore. And we were saying nice things about that mobile, which it deserves it, I'm sure, but one point should be stressed. And if you see that shots taken in rather contrast lights, taken without sunshine, you know, these shots where you have a lot of dark spaces and a lot of, you know, contrasts, it's not as exciting as you would get with, say, my iPhone. So under these circumstances, you should not expect some really huge miracles. This is one of the situations where you would just feel that higher-end mobiles would probably give you better results. On the contrary, where you would be really happy are situations like that, you know, drinking coffee somewhere, waiting for somebody in a cafe. And yes, of course, these shots are quite common, that you just want to take a nice cup of coffee and just send a photo from this to your friends. And you can see that the colors are good with an ultra wide or just at a normal lens. And yes, you just won't be disappointed, I can guarantee. The same applies to situations like that. We have a lot of countryside colors, we have a lot of interesting stuff, and I can guarantee that this mobile just won't let you down. Of course, you can tell me that, well, the guy is taking shots only of a beautifully colored flowers, and yes, it's true. Please do not forget, the ability of taking photos is really in ability to see great opportunities. And well, the shots are from 80% in the ability of photographer to find a nice location, nice composition, and nice light, like here. And another thing which I was not completely excited was the night mode. As you know from iPhones, for instance, it does not really work that well here for some reasons. But at the same time, if you just see that series of shots, if you just see these beautiful photos, you just should not be disappointed. This is, well, this is not in night mode. This is just the normal, ordinary mode. And there is still quite a lot of light. And yeah, I'm quite happy. I have to say I was really surprised. We have already seen shots from that series. We have seen that particular photo. And I told you, and I can say it once again, I was really impressed how far even that mid-range mobiles are getting now. Some more photos from that famous views of Prague, and one more evidence that if you know how to do it, you can do a really great photography even under very low light, like here in the city of Prague. And let's jump to a totally different location, to the mountains of Moravia, some cows, some trees, and again, it's up to you to see what you want to see. And I've been testing cameras on that spot for many years, and so I just couldn't really resist to take these shots, and these photos are just examples of the normal camera and just zooms and portrait modes. And again, you can see that it works, and if you know how to do it, if you know how to play with colors, you just will not be disappointed because the results are just good. Of course, you can't expect the same results like from a full frame, which would cost you $5,000. But given the fact that this is decently priced mobile, these shots are just not bad at all. But as I said, I just do not want to be in the situation when I will be telling you this is good or not. I just want you to have the opportunity to see how it works and what to expect. One more example, musicians playing. I'm not able to get as close as I would like. Of course, these shots with digital zoom are not exciting. But at the same time, just look how far I was. I would never do this in real life, but if you have to once in a month or a year, it just won't be that terrible as you might have thought. Of course, the key rule would be that the much better results would come if you just stay in a short distance and if you stick with, flowers and dogs. And here is the dog called Amba, which was featured in many of my reviews because she just likes being photographed here in the portrait mode, in a normal mode. And I think that these photos can be taken as one of another examples how that mobile gives you a chance to bring quite decent results for decent money. One more chapter is video, and I have to admit I am just not able to give you some really good review of the video capabilities of this mobile because I just do not use it much. And what I can do is what I do right now. So you can, as I speak, you can see some of my tests done with 4K 30 frames per second. And I would say that the results are just, well, good. And you just should not be afraid that you will not get a great footage. But as I said, I'm not really good at judging the quality of video. So thank you so much for your attention. I am Jan from Prague, the Czech Republic.